I'm Kitty Liddy and welcome back to my channel. This is a speed paint of a watercolour that I got. It's also a sort of review, but it's not like a proper review, I don't think, because it doesn't have the unboxing and the reactions, because this is my second drawing using these. The first one I used was fan art based, and it was with a Canon character and a fan character together. And I prefer to keep that on my DeviantArt rather than on my YouTube. This is of an original character of mine. So from the same story as my Sadie and Joshua in the project called Shades of Night. The paints are the Sakura Koi watercolours. Please keep in mind that this is not sponsored in any way. I just saw these in a shop and I bought them and wanted to try them out. So this one that I've got is the 30 colours ones, and says fine quality transparent watercolours. And it also comes with a sponge on its right and the water brush, which I think they all come with, but I could be wrong. I don't know. And they got this nice little whole palette that you could inside that you can use. You can attach it to the sides around it, and it's also It's also pocket size, so it's really nice to take around anywhere. And I did my own colour swatch of it that I didn't show here. I don't think so. It might peek out on the side on the left, but it may not be shown very well. But when I did my own colour palette, I really loved the colours. They were really vibrant and pretty, and they are a bit transparent, but they were still but you could still see the colours as very much through them. What else is there? The half pans themselves, they're quite nice and solid, and on the box as well that you get them in, they also have an image where you could like put a small piece of paper in to have your little painting in there, which was quite nice. If there's one thing, if I were to say was that was all my pros. And for my cons, I think what I would say is there's only one bad thing about it, I think, and that would be the availability of that. And what I mean by that is from what I've seen, you can only get these half pans as they are in these sets, and when you compare them to things like Winsor & Newton, the Schminky watercolours, and Senelia, I think they're pronounced. You can, with those watercolours I just mentioned, you can buy the half pans individually, and with these ones from these Sakura Kois, from what I've seen, once you've used up a certain colour, then that's it. You've run out of it, so you can't, and you'll have to buy another set of 30 or 12 together. So I think that's more of a disadvantage, especially if you're doing a lot of mixing. Like if you use a lot of pastel colours, you're going to be using a lot of white. Or if you do a lot of underwater scenes, you might be using a lot of blues and greens. Or if you do a lot of sunset scenes, you're going to be using a lot of warm colours. So you're going to run out with more colours than you are with others. And if you can't get the pans separately, then that's going to be a problem. But otherwise, That's the only con I think about these watercolours. Otherwise, I think they're beautiful, they're amazing, and they're very easy to carry. They have a super cute little box to carry around in. But yeah, otherwise I think they're really good. Okay, later now after I coloured in, I started adding in my Copic towels for a bit of shading. Usually I like to add in my pro markers as well, but I thought because these watercolours were quite transparent, I thought it'd be easier to have the Copic towels, because the pro markers are a bit more they're a bit more vivid in ink, I think, or a bit more heavy in the ink, whereas I think Copic towels are a bit lighter. But they're both really good to me anyway. Regarding this character, her name, did I say who she was in the beginning? I'll say it again anyway. Anyway, this character is her name is Sylvia Cornflower. She's from the same story as my Sadie and my Joshua characters. She's from a pure vampire family, so she was born a vampire, and she's been childhood friends with Joshua and his brothers. She's also kind of the love interest of Joshua's middle brother, Darren. And she also gradually becomes best friends with Sadie and another character, Sammy, who was later becomes the oldest brother's, Joshua and Darren's oldest brother's love interest. At first she comes off as quite aloof and quiet, but once you get to know her, she's actually quite quick-witted and got a dry sense of humour. And she's a bit of a pun wizard. She's always every chance she has every chance she gets to make a pun joke, she will make it, regardless of whether anyone wants one or not. What else? As you can see here, she's also a violinist. And for her family, I'm thinking about giving her 2 younger siblings that are twins. And I think her whole family are also quite dry and deadpan. But I'm still developing her family. So far, I've just got ideas for like her personality and her relationships with the main characters. So yeah, that's her story, I think, so far. Sorry, run out of things to say now. I'm just adding more there, here and there. You probably noticed like when I was adding the shading for her trousers, that the marker I used was still a bit too dark. So after I stopped filming, I went over her trousers again, so that there'd be a bit more of a gradient and they wouldn't stand out so much. And I also added a bit more of the white pen to her eyes a bit, because they didn't look quite right to me. I was wondering about whether or not to add a background to this, but I wasn't. But backgrounds aren't really my best skill, especially if I'm trying to do a gradient, which I'm not good at all. So yeah, I thought like adding some music symbols would be an interesting touch. And I had this idea for a pose for Sylvia for ages as well. Anyway, I hope you liked this. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.